welcome back to the Poly Plus and More Equals Us podcast. This is Elisa speaking. Before we get into the episode, I just have two quick announcements for you. The first one is that our community, the pack, opens in 1 week. Oh my gosh, where did the time go? How is this happening? The pack is a community for polyamorous people. So if you are polyamorous or ethically non-monogamous, or maybe you're just really curious about polyamory, maybe you're not sure it's right for you, but you want to learn more and you want to talk to other people who are polyamorous, then this is the place for you. So in the show notes, you can click the link that says join the community and you'll be put on a wait list. So that way, as soon as the community does open up, you'll be the first to know and you'll be able to create a profile and start talking to other people and getting to know the community. So if that's something you're interested, again, that's available in the show notes. And then the other thing is, if you're one of those people who's like, I don't know, I'm really curious about polyamory or just ethical non-monogamy, but I'm not really sure if it's right for me, then I have a quiz for you. I loved taking quizzes when I was in junior high and high school. They were my absolute favorite thing. So I thought, why don't I make a quiz? And so I have, and it's going to take less than 2 minutes. And it's actually got some really great and informative information at the end, if I do say so myself. So if you're not really sure if polyamory is right for you or not, or if you're just curious about it, take the quiz, learn a little bit more about it. And if you do take the quiz, let me know what you think. Hit me up on Instagram. Or tell me about it next week in the pack. So anyway, those are my two announcements. All of the links are available in the show notes. And that's it. Let's get into the episode. Hello.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yes, welcome back to another episode of Poly Plus and More Equals Us. We are on episode 3 of our second season. Woohoo! And today we are going to talk about how, monogamous friends sometimes just don't get it. They just don't get it. I mean, that's okay. They don't have to. Not all of them. But, sometimes that can be really hard when all of your really good friends, don't understand this huge part of who you are and your relationship and the way you, live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite the mixed bag of reactions.
Yeah.
Some people are just genuinely curious and want to know more, and others are just like, oh, this is weird. I don't really want to talk about this anymore. So, yeah, we've had quite the full spectrum of responses.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be difficult. I don't know, at least it is for me. I have found that I really do need friends that get it and understand, or that at least what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say I feel like I partly need friends who are also polyamorous or also ethically non-monogamous because they understand on the same level. But I also need friends who, yeah, maybe they're monogamous, but they sort of understand the appeal of the lifestyle. They understand why Mike and I are, this way, and are curious and genuinely want to know more, even though they don't want to be polyamorous. And I feel like we don't have a lot of that. And it makes it kind of difficult.
No, I mean, we have maybe, 2 to 4 friends?
Yeah.
Who are poly?
Yeah.
Or who have at least, experienced, the poly lifestyle, so... Yeah, there aren't many. It's definitely not common and definitely not really well known.
Yeah.
Amongst our main group of friends.
Yeah. So before we get super into it, we're gonna talk about our drink that we have that we're trying out. Woo-hoo. So today's drink is a brand called Mad Tasty. Well, here we go. Mad tasty for those of you that are watching this on video. And it's the watermelon kiwi flavor. And so this is a sparkling water. So it's not quite like an alcohol substitute like some of the other ones we've tried. This one is more like a sparkling water, but it's infused with hemp and CBD. So it's kind of like, you know, a relaxing kind of drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit going on with this drink.
Yeah.
See if it lives up to its advertising or its name of Mad Tasty.
Yeah, mad tasty. So, okay, let's give it a go.
It's a cool can design.
Yeah.
It's got some style.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
It sounds good, watermelon kiwi.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Get that pop.
Ooh, love that sound.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, I like the flavor.
Ooh, yeah, I really like it. It's
Yeah.
subtle. It's subtle, but it's good.
Yeah, you know, I'm usually not a fan of watermelon flavored things because the watermelon flavor is usually like really fake tasting.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a little bit of a watermelon Jolly Rancher flavor, but like
A
not
tiny
much.
bit, yeah.
Just like the tiniest
There's like a
bit.
tiny bit of like, almost like a chalky taste at the very end. Like it's very, very subtle.
Chalky?
Yeah, I'm getting like,
I don't get that at all.
no?
No.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's almost like if you have like a protein type powder and like the aftertaste is just like, I don't know, it's got like a...
Oh my god, that face I just made.
It's not bad, it's just interesting.
No, I definitely don't get that chalky taste. I know what you're talking about, like when you add protein powder to like a smoothie or something, and yeah, I know what you mean, but I definitely don't get that.
Maybe it's because I just brushed my teeth. Maybe it's more the toothpaste.
Sure, let's go with
But
that.
no, I do like the for flavored water. It's got a really good balance of like flavor.
Yeah.
It's not, you know, over the top or like artificial,
Yeah.
but it's not like super watered down or kind of diety tasting at the same time.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a really good balance.
I like it, but it is more of just like another sparkling water. Like, you know, if you didn't want to drink a LaCroix or whatever, maybe you grab one of these, you know, but which there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. But again, like the idea is if we were at a party and we were going to bring a beverage to drink other than alcohol, would we want to bring this beverage?
I'd be okay bringing this. I think it's a little bit better than LaCroix,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's just like,
but it's not an alcohol substitute.
yeah, exactly. It's just like, it just tastes like sparkling water. But if you're like, sorry, I just like burped. I'm like, I'll save the listeners from having to hear my crazy burps.
Yeah, I don't want to blow out anyone's eardrums.
I know, I might. But like, I don't know. For me, it's like, yeah, when I'm at a party, I do like to go back and forth between like if I'm drinking alcohol, an alcoholic drink, and then like a non-alcoholic, like sparkling water. But if I'm wanting to completely substitute out the alcohol, I want something that also kind of tastes or reminds me of like a cocktail or something. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, this is a sparkling water though, so you know, I don't think it's what it's advertised to be.
It
I
is.
don't think it was ever supposed to be a mocktail.
You're right.
But I don't know. I think it's up there with like a good drink to take to the beach. It's super refreshing. And yeah, it's just like, you know, it's kind of got that like spring summery flavor to it.
Yeah.
The watermelon kiwi.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely like a summer flavor. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. It's just like a really nice sparkling water.
Yeah.
Okay, so and like I guess we'll have to wait and see how so mine only says it has hemp added to it, and Mike's, apparently I got two different kinds. Mike's has CBD added to it.
Here, let's switch.
Oh yeah, maybe
Let's see if
that's
they taste
why.
a little bit
Maybe
different.
that's why yours is chalky. Let's see.
Oh yeah, they're totally different.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm like, are they? Wait, let me.
It's in the aftertaste. It's that chalkiness. I wonder if that's CBD.
I'm not getting a chalkiness. Hold on, let me do better.
There's something different. Oh, well. I mean, flavor-wise, they're about the same, but it's just like the aftertaste is...
You know, I actually feel like the kiwi flavor
totally
is a
different.
little bit stronger in yours than it is in mine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
All right. Well, what would you give this this mad tasty drink?
The mad tasty
Out of
drink.
10.
I mean, it is mad tasty. It is very tasty. I'm gonna give it a 7 because yes, it is very tasty, but like I don't know, it's just like a normal sparkling water to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
No. We said no. We said we were gonna do whole numbers. So you give it a 7 as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to drop it down to a 7. I don't think it's as good as the drink we had.
Recess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The recess drink we had last week.
Uh-huh.
It's almost there.
2 weeks ago.
Or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that strawberry one, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost there. That
Yeah.
flavor was a little bit better. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll give it a 7 then.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's partly why I gave it a 7 too, because I like the it's just the recess. We still haven't found anything we like better than recess so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we still have a lot to try.
I know, we still have so much to try.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that's our drink for the week. Watermelon kiwi mad tasty. All right.
All right, on to the show.
On to the show. Let's get into it.
Damn.
Oh God, I couldn't hold that one in. Sorry.
Yeah, we didn't think about that, huh?
I know
Drinking
that.
all these carbonated beverages, we're gonna have to
That's the problem.
start burping. Yeah.
I know. Well, when we were recording like the first 2 episodes, I was trying really hard not to like, burp
Yeah,
and
turn
like
away from the mic.
like turn away from the mic and like let the air out slowly. But like sometimes that's just not possible. You kind of let it out, you know.
You're more of a burper for sure.
I know. We didn't really think that part through when we decided to have carbonated beverages while we're recording a podcast.
Just a side effect.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get into it. So, what is it like, having monogamous friends and trying to explain our relationship and it can be hard sometimes. I feel like most of our friends, a majority of them, they're like, okay, yeah, that's cool, whatever makes you happy, but that's kind of it. Most of them like don't ever ask about like how things are going. They never ask if like we're dating or if we've gone on dates or anything like that. It's like they're like, okay, yeah, cool, that makes you happy, but they're not interested in wanting to know more. And that's hard because like, you want your friends to like want to know about you, right? Like that's the whole point of like having a friend, is that like you know them and they know you and you can like share in life experiences together. And so when friends are like, yeah, that's cool, but I don't want to talk about it, then it's like, okay, well then that's like a huge part of me that you don't want to talk about or know about,
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, but I also do understand where they're coming from. I mean, to them, it's like, I think for most people, and especially for most of our friends, like, monogamy is, is the only way. And so, they think that, like, what we're doing is definitely somewhat odd, and, they may not totally agree with it.
Yeah.
But they'll still accept it. They'll accept us, and, they're not going to just be like, oh, like, friendship over because you're polyamorous and I only believe in monogamy, so.
Yeah.
Fortunately, no one's gotten to that extreme. But, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just taking it from that approach where it's like, it is great when, like, there are a handful of friends who do really ask us questions and, like, really want to get into it. And, are trying to get like all the nitty gritty details, not only about like dating, but like also like our beliefs and why we wanted to do this and what are like our main fears and concerns and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we do have a few friends who like really want to know. And, you know, and they also like, they listen to the podcast because they're like, wow, this is like so interesting. And they really are genuinely like curious and they like to listen because they're like, wow, I'm learning so much about you, you know?
Yeah.
But like most of our friends are like, why would I listen to your podcast? Because it's about polyamory. And I'm like, well, if you started a podcast about yourself, right? That's basically what we're doing, is talking about ourselves. I was like, if you started a podcast about yourself, I would listen to it because I want to know more about you, you know? And like, but most of our friends are like, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of.
And it's like, I don't know.
I think it's just they don't care enough about it because it's not something that they fully agree with to want to ask questions.
They don't care enough about it, or they don't care enough about us.
Well, I mean, that's a whole nother topic. I mean, that's definitely a part of it too, but
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the friends I'm referring to are the friends I've had for like over a decade now.
Yeah.
If not longer, so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, for me, it's not a question of like whether they care or not. Like,
yeah.
You know, I know they care. Like, we've cared about each other for so long now. It's not like that's just going to instantly change.
Yeah.
I just think it's a matter of just like being interested in this particular topic, this aspect of our lives. Because, yeah, some people are just naturally more curious, or they may even want to like possibly consider exploring being poly themselves later on in life. You know, there's an intrigue there, just like with anything. If you're not intrigued by it, like why would you want to like ask questions and learn more about it?
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the whole not caring isn't really necessarily true. I think it's more of just like it's something I agree with or I don't agree with, and like if I agree with it, or like at least I'm somewhat curious about it, I'll ask some questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think ultimately like what we're getting at though is, you know, it's more so the fact that it is difficult to have to like, well, there's two parts of it. It's difficult to like always have to like explain yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also like not necessarily a bad thing because people are asking you questions and they want to know more.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of like repeating.
Yeah.
And explaining things over and over again.
Yeah.
And I'm actually not so like concerned or like upset about that. Like I like kind of, even though it's like the same conversation for me, I do like sharing our experience and our perspective with someone who's curious.
Yeah, definitely.
Who's never heard of it before.
Yeah, but I do think sometimes it's like there's a difference between asking questions because you're curious and asking questions because you're being judgmental. And like a few weeks ago, right, we had a friend who was like asking questions, but in like a really judgmental way. And I was really caught off guard because she was like, well, why isn't one person good enough for you? You know, and like, what's wrong with Mike? Why do you need somebody other than him? You know? And like, I don't know. I was just really thrown off because I was like, I was just surprised. I was like, you know, it's like if you're curious, you would ask those questions in a different way. But like the way she was asking them was like they were loaded with judgment. You know what I mean?
That's all based on the individual.
I know.
I've had plenty of friends who most of our friends haven't been judgmental.
Yes.
That's on her. She's judging it based on her own belief that like monogamy is the only way, and poly's weird and not right, and you know, there's something wrong with it. Like to her, it's like, oh, like, you know, what are you hiding? What's wrong in your relationship? Like, but then at the same time, she wasn't even really trying to like dig to like understand like any of that. It was more that was just more of like pure judgment.
Yeah, but I mean, so that's part of like why we're having this discussion, because like monogamous people just don't get it, right? Like that's kind of our point. Or like, I should say, they sometimes just don't get it.
There's varying levels of
Yeah, but
of understanding
right,
and getting it.
Yeah, but like that's the point. Like the whole point of this conversation is how it can be really hard to talk to your friends about it because sometimes they just don't understand.
Yeah.
And so this was one level where it was like, wow, like we've been friends for a while, and I was just shocked that like, you know, she was just asking such judgmental things, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think as we're talking about this, I'm kind of thinking like, yeah, I mean, if you are poly or like thinking about becoming poly, like, it's just understanding like the wide range of responses that you can get from different friends, and also it kind of reveals like how they might like respond to things outside their belief system.
Yeah.
Like that's really like what it's boiling down to, right?
Yeah.
Like how is this individual responding? Are they seeking to understand, and are they curious, or are they just like judgmental, like, oh, this isn't me, this isn't right, I'm not even going to try to understand.
Yeah.
And then there's to me those are kind of the two extremes, and then there's things that fall in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it is interesting seeing how like different friends respond.
I feel like we're also learning more about our friends and more about it kind of like just reveals more about who they really are as a person, and sometimes it's surprising, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you're kind of you're definitely you're putting yourself out there and seeing how they respond to something that's outside, the social norm.
Yeah.
Are they a little more open-minded and okay with it, or are they, maybe not so much?
Yeah, and I mean, and like on the flip side, like we do have friends who, are very curious, and they, like I said, like they listen to the podcast because even though they're monogamous, they're like, wow, this is so interesting, and they just are wanting to learn about like another way of like living and being in relationship. And like those friends, when they ask questions, they're like genuinely curious, and there's no judgment in their questions. They're just like seeking to understand. And it's like, those are the friends that I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Like I need more of these kinds of friends,
Yeah.
who even though they're like, no, I'm going to be monogamous and I want to be monogamous, they're just genuinely curious, and they just genuinely want to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they see us as like, they know us, and they see us as like people that they like and they trust, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, well, you've made this decision, even though it's different than a decision I've made. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge you for it because like I respect you as an individual, but I do want to like know more
Yeah.
about why you made that decision, because I think a lot of them just haven't even thought about it. Like it hasn't even crossed their mind. Like they haven't really heard of being poly before.
Yeah.
Or even considered it. So yeah, it just opens up a whole new world of questions, and just trying to like understand it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, but like, again, so those are like the two extremes, the ones who are like asking really judgmental questions, and the ones who like are really open and want to understand, and then everything in the middle. And I think most of our friends fall into that middle category. And so again, it's hard because then it feels like we can't talk to them about this like huge part of our lives, right? Like any of our friends, it's like, oh, like, how's your dating life, right? That's like a totally normal question to ask. Like, oh, who are you dating right now? How's that going? Blah, 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 right? Nobody ever asks us that. And that's like a totally normal question, right? And so like that's what I'm talking about. It's like I will ask a friend about their dating life, but then they won't ask me about it. And it's because it's like there's that like, I don't know, they think it's like weird, or like, I don't know, like they don't want to know. And that's not fun. It's not fun to feel like your friends don't want to know certain things about you. It's like not being reciprocated.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a little more than just not being fun. It's just, they just,
well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, they don't want to reciprocate, and they just, I mean, they don't want to know more, so it kind of seems like they don't care.
Yeah.
Which they may not care about that part of your life.
Yeah.
I've never taken that as like a personal, like, I don't know, attack or like a personal diss on me. For me, it's just like, okay, like they don't agree with that part of my life. Like, that's okay. Like, hopefully, we do have a handful of friends, and hopefully we can make more friends who are just more understanding of this lifestyle choice that we've made, and who we can have, like, I don't know, it's more meaningful and engaging conversations beyond just like questioning why we're doing this, and it's kind of going into more of questions of like, oh, how are you like living this lifestyle, like what's going on in your like day to day now, things like that.
And I mean that's kind of what we're striving for and what we're hoping to get to. But and like, so like I guess the whole point of this conversation is like, it's like it can be hard only having friends who are monogamous when you're wanting to live this lifestyle, because it's just not the same. Most of them, at least in our experience, haven't wanted to understand, and that can be really hard. I mean, apparently it doesn't seem to be as hard for Mike as it is for me. But like, it's hard for me to feel like my friends don't want to know about certain parts of me, because it's like, as a friend, it's like, I want you to like all parts of me, or at least accept them and want to talk about them, even if we don't have the same belief, because I have friends who, will still want to talk about this, even though they aren't monogamous. So it's like, I don't know. It's harder for me, but apparently it's not as hard for you.
I mean, ideally, like, I would like, the majority of my friends to like care about this part of my life. And I think like all my like really good friends do to a certain extent. But at the same time, like, I do expect people just to not agree with it and not want to talk more about it, or just to not be good enough friends to want to talk about it. So, it's that whole spectrum.
And I guess that's like where we kind of differ, because I have always been the kind of person who's like, I don't know, you're either all in or you're all out. And that's kind of how I am with friends too. I'm either all in with a friend or I'm all out. It's like, and that's why, like, I don't have nearly as many friends. And like, but that's okay, because I don't need like a lot of just like somewhat decent friends.
You're like all like high quality.
Yes.
You don't need quantity, just very high quality.
Exactly. I'm all about the quality, and you're kind of about the quantity. Like, I mean, of course quality matters to you, but like clearly it doesn't, because you just said, well, like, some of them just aren't good enough friends to want to know about that, and that's fine. That's fine for you.
For me, that's just normal to have like different tiers of friendship. Like, you have like acquaintances you like kind of see every now and then, who you're friendly with. And you have kind of like more recent friends you get along with well, and like maybe you have some serious conversations here and there, but it's not like all that in depth. And you have like your really good friends who have been in your life for like 10, 15 plus years, and you can talk to them about anything. So I don't know, like, to me, just friends just kind of fall into those categories. As they come into your life. And so I don't know, I'm kind of just okay with some of them not being all that engaged or interested in the poly part of our life. I mean, if all my friends were like that, then I'd be concerned. Like, especially my good friends. Then I'd be like, well, like, do they just really disagree with this so much that they just like don't really want to be my friend anymore, kind of thing? But fortunately, that's not been the case, and we haven't had to deal with that.
And I guess that's just like where we differ, because like, like there's like different tiers of friends, sure, but like I kind of want, I'm like, you're either just like a really, really good friend, or like, to me, it's like, you're a great friend. There's only two categories. It's like, you're a really, really good friend who I can talk about anything with, and everybody else.
Yeah, but then what about like what about new people coming to your life? They're going to start out as acquaintances or like
well, of
new
course,
friends.
but it's like if I like you, then I want us to get to the point where we can talk about anything, and if I find that you aren't open-minded enough to do that, then I don't really need you in my life.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I mean that's like your filter right there. Like
Yeah.
if you don't want to talk about this or like
Yeah.
can't accept this about me, then
Yeah.
why spend time or pursue this any further?
Yeah, if we can't have like an open-minded discussion, it doesn't mean you have to believe in it, right? But if you can't have like an open-minded discussion with me, or if I can't at least talk about my love life with you, then what's the point?
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
So I guess that's what I'm getting at. And for me, it's like, what's the point? But for you, you're like, oh, okay. You're okay with it, and I'm just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why like you're more like the stereotypical cat, I'm more like the stereotypical dog.
Wow. Okay. So clearly I just have higher standards of friendship, right? Because dogs will be friends with fucking anybody. But cats are very picky, and they only want to be friends with the best.
Yeah, I mean dogs walk up to anyone and be like, will you be my friend? Will you be my friend?
Right?
Do you have a little bit of food for me?
And that's you.
Kind of. I mean, I guess like, I don't want to say there's like, that's like a neediness, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm just a little more like open like that.
Yeah.
Like I'm okay. Just like, I'm okay with those different levels. And like,
Yeah.
I'll spend, I will spend more time and like put in more energy with like my closer friends and people I feel more connected with. But,
Yeah.
like there have been nights where I've just like gone out and like met random people.
Yeah.
Like men and women, and just like you're kind of just like friends for the night. You're having a good time, and like
Yeah.
but you don't like get their number. You don't like have any way of like really communicating with them outside maybe social media.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. Like,
Yeah.
you still have a good time.
Yeah, but that's different because that's like,
I mean, it's a
know.
part of it though.
Yeah, but I still feel like that's different because it's like, oh, this is just like a one night, we're having fun kind of thing. And like, that's all it's going to be. That's different versus like, when someone like introduces you, this is my friend, and like they're hanging out all the time. And it's like, oh, okay. Like clearly you're going to be in my life a little bit more than like I want to have like an actual friendship with you. I don't want to just like,
Yeah.
like, so that's like a different situation.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying that like, that's just kind of like a unique case of just like forming different levels of friendship.
Yeah.
Like that's still like the acquaintance level.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that too. Like I don't mind like putting in that time and energy for that one night. Like some
Yeah.
people might be like, oh, what's the point? Like you're never gonna hang out again. For me, I'm like, oh, well, that's to me that's part of like life and just having like
Yeah.
fun, random, spontaneous experiences that don't have to like be the biggest situations of your life. And
Yeah.
but you never know. At the same time, also like maybe it will blossom into something
Yeah.
bigger. So
And-
I don't know.
yeah,
I'm,
but
I'm
I'm
a little
not-
more just like,
Yeah, but I'm like, that's different.
okay. I just think it's somewhat related.
Okay.
Kind of went off on a tangent there.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, a little bit of a tangent, but that's okay.
Yeah, I guess for me, ultimately, it's just, I think it would be just like a little more prudent going into like conversations with friends if you are new to being polyamorous, or you're thinking about it and just like wanting to talk to people about it or bring it up with friends. Just kind of having that expectation that like certain friends, depending on how close they are to you, may have widely varying responses.
Yeah.
Just based on how open they are, or closed off they are to
Yeah.
beliefs outside of what they deem to be true.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's like just knowing that also that might change a relationship dynamic with
Yeah.
some of your friends who have been really good friends perhaps, and now all of a sudden they're like, well, that's weird. And so the friendship dynamic might change a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely can. And I think maybe some of our friendships have like slightly shifted. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's been like a huge change with any of them. It's not been like, oh, like I no longer want to like really see you anymore or like hang out with you. There hasn't been like any dramatic change like that, but
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe there's a little bit of a shift where it's like, oh, like I don't really want to talk about that part of your life, and
Yeah.
like you're kind of on the same level, but maybe it's like a little bit less than what it was.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. Sometimes you
Yeah.
just need a little more time also, and like see how things like settle out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I guess that's just where we differ, because once I start to realize that there's like a friend who just like doesn't want to talk about it like at all, or like avoids talking about it because they think it's like really weird, I'm like, well then do I even need you as a friend? Like
Yeah,
that's where I go.
I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm just a little more flexible there.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you still need those friends who you can talk to. Like you can talk about anything with.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly, like you can figure out things with like your current friends, but at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's important to find friends who like completely understand, or who want to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, friends or family.
Yeah, friends or family, or just, anybody who you can talk to that like really understands or wants to understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people, may not have that support from family, so
Yeah.
they really do need, they really do want to find friends who understand where they're coming from, or at least want to.
Yeah.
As you're saying.
Yeah. So, like, where do you find those friends?
I mean, it can be difficult. Like, there could be, they could be amongst your friend group or friends of friends who are also curious, or who are living, a polyamorous lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's more convenient and a little easier because they're already there, and like you already have a certain level of connection to them.
Yeah.
Or you can potentially find a budding community.
No way. I love that. Find a budding community. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is.
I know that is what it is, but that's good. I wouldn't have thought to say that. Exactly. Or you can seek out a community filled with people who also just get it, who are also polyamorous or ethically non-monogamous, or are curious about it, or who want to know more. And that's why we're starting our community. That's like the whole point of the pack, the poly plus more community. It's like we're really trying to just like find those people who get it, who are also polyamorous, who want to talk about it with other people, and get that support, and like create friendships where you can talk about anything and you don't have to hide certain parts of yourself. Like, that's what I want. I want to find people and build friendships and relationships where I can talk about all parts of myself and not have to censor myself. And that's why we're starting this community, because that's what I want. And if I can't find it out there, then I might as well create it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little go-getter.
Yeah. But yeah, because I mean, it is important. Like, clearly it's more important for me than it is for you, and that's okay. But like for me, it is really important to feel like I have friends and like a good support system of people who I can talk to when I'm like going through stuff, or like, especially as like we start dating more, like, yeah, I want to be able to have friends that I can talk to and be like, oh, I went on this date and this is how it went. Or like, like, oh, I've been seeing this guy for a while and now Mike and I are, experiencing this and it's tricky, and like, like to bounce those ideas off of and to talk to and to just feel like held and supported by my actual friends.
Yeah.
Right? Because like that's what monogamous people do, right? We all talk to our friends about our relationships, right? And get advice from our friends. But like if I feel like I can't talk to all of my friends about that, then I need to
find a community where I can.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it may not be as important to me as it is for you, but it's still important to me.
Yeah.
I think it's important to anyone who, may be new to this or not even new, but just having a hard time, like,
yeah,
finding friends or family they can relate to.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the other thing. Like, maybe you've, been poly or ethically non-monogamous for a while, but you just don't really know anybody else who is in the same boat. And so it's just nice to, like, have people you can talk to who understand, where you don't have to explain, like, well, why isn't Mike good enough? Like, I don't want to have to explain that to somebody every time, It would be nice to have friends who understand.
Yeah.
And who also understand that I'm not seeking other partners because there's something wrong with Mike or there's something wrong with our relationship.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with our relationship, So, yeah, that's the whole point of the pack. And then that's also the whole point of why, like, I'm offering these peer support sessions, for that same reason. If there's anybody out there listening and they're, feeling like, wow, I just really need to sit down with somebody and, like, talk this out. Because I know that's one of the ways that I really work through my own emotions and tough situations is by just, like, talking to a friend and just talking to them and explaining myself. And usually in the explaining and in the talking through, I kind of figure it out. Sometimes, like, we just need somebody to listen, but we need to know that the person listening isn't judging us and isn't going to make us feel, like, weird or bad for our feelings. And that's, like, what I'm here to do. That's, like, what these peer support sessions are, Because I'm, like, no matter what somebody is going through, I'm not going to judge them. Definitely not. And I can be that person that can be the sounding board for them. And I want to be able to help. And, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've learned a lot through all of this. And so, yeah, I feel like not only can I be that sounding board for someone, but I think I can also help in certain situations, or at least give guidance or give my perspective. And sometimes that's all you need, right? Like, that's the whole point of, like, when you're like, hey, friend, let's, like, go grab a coffee. I need to talk to you about my love life. There it is.
Yeah.
But we don't all have friends who we feel like we can talk to our polyamorous love life with. So that's the whole point of these, like, one-on-one peer support sessions.
It's well said.
Yeah. Thanks. All right. Anything else we feel like we have to say on this topic?
I'm good. I feel like I've said everything that's on my mind.
Sweet. Me too. Okay. Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening. As always, please subscribe on whatever you're listening to. Oh, we have discovered, or not really discovered, but we have found that a majority of our listeners are listening on Spotify. So if you are listening to this on Spotify, please, please, please rate the podcast. All you have to do is there's, like, the little stars. Give us a 5-star rating, Like, let us know. Spotify doesn't currently have, like, leave a review, like an actual, like, written review. They just have the stars. So if you're listening on Spotify, please subscribe and give us a 5-star review. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, boy, do we have something special for you. Yeah, so we are still, like, if you rate and review the podcast, so you have to leave, like, an actual review. Once you've done that, take a screenshot, email it to us at hello@polyplusamore.com, all spelled out. Email us that, and we will send you our, like, oh, shoot, what's it called? Our, like, reference guide. No. Our resource. Yeah. I was like, what's the word? Resource.
Oh, yeah, resource reference, yeah.
Yeah, it was, like, resource. I like resource better. Yeah. We will send you our resource list. And it's basically, like, books you can read, shows that are about polyamory or ethical non-monogamy, other podcasts to listen to, just other resources if you're curious. So if you're on Apple, rate and review. Please leave a little review. Hopefully it's 5 stars. Take a screenshot, send it to us, and we will send you that list. And yeah, last but not least, the community that we talked about is going to be official, and you can join it on August 2nd. So that's next week. Oh my God, that's a week. That's in a week.
Yep.
That's in a week.
Right around the corner.
Wow, right around the corner.
Coming up.
Yep. So yeah, get ready for that. And that's everything. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back here next week.